How's everybody doing today? So I put down that I was going to speak about city services. I tried to keep it as generic as possible. I build container homes here in the city of Houston. I am very passionate about low-income housing. Not just, getting some kind of a government grant, as a lot of what's been talked about today, the abatement programs, not trying to get other people's money to try and build this, or some kind of cheat in the tax code, or some kind of government loophole, but to actually build something that's affordable, that is sustainable, that can be built out throughout the city of Houston and provide affordable housing to working class individuals, which is something that's becoming more and more and more unattainable here in the United States. I'll give you a very, very quick statistic. 95% of all multifamily units newly built in the United States are Class A properties. Entire United States. We in Houston, we're doing great, guys. We are one of the best municipalities in the entire United States. We're at 85% last time I checked. Still a very, very high percentage. I want to chat with you guys here today because while I'm very passionate about low-income housing, I don't think the city of Houston is. And I want to be very frank about that. I've just completed a 4-story house where we're going to be going through final inspections here in the next couple of weeks. 18% of my budget on that house was dealing with permitting and permitting-related issues. And those kinds of issues stem from the most outrageous to just downright stupid. Let me give you an example. Because you put a covered roof on a 4-story house, it could have its own balcony with no roof. You wouldn't need a sprinkler system if it didn't have a roof. But now that I put one on top, poof, needs a sprinkler system. And this is something that irritates me. Do you need a fire escape or a way off that 4-story roof? No. There's only one exit. You either jump off the side or you go down the staircase. The staircase is blocked, you're dead. Huh? Good luck. Do you need a fire extinguisher in the kitchens where half of all residential fires come from? No. You don't need one according to the code. Now here's my problem. You guys unanimously passed the building code. Unanimously. How many bills here are unanimously passed? I mean, can we talk about that? Probably not very many. And so we're going over and over and over dealing with these arbitrary problems with the building code. But it doesn't stop there. That's the building code. You gave it to the building official. Let's talk about the process of getting a permit. My count right now, there's between 5 and 10 people in the city of Houston in the permitting center. Their only job is to take a form that was filled out on paper and put it in electronically. And my favorite person in this process, you fill out something electronically, they print it out, and then fill it back in electronically in a different process system. Guys, that's not efficient. That's not low. How does a low-income housing provider come in and say, we're going to actually build cheaply? We're going to do it right.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. So you're asking for what you believe to be more an efficient process through permitting?
There's a lot of things that I would ask for. I only have 3 minutes.
So that's why
yes,
that's your
let's
question.
Say yes.
I mean, because you started off saying we didn't believe in affordable housing. And then
right.
you went to permitting. So since you spent most of your time on permitting, I'm assuming that. So why don't you send an email with the things you think that we could be more efficient with?
Okay.
You can go online, and I won't make you fill it out on paper, but you can go online and send me an email, and we'll take a look at it.
Do you guys read the emails? Can I ask? Because I've sent 2 or 3 before to all of council. I don't know if they've been read. Never gotten a response.
So you can choose not to send it, or you can choose to send it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm going to send it.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Borkins.
Thank you, Ms. Krieger. Good to see you, sir.
Good seeing you.
Last time I saw you, you were taping my conversation with you, but I think, and that's okay. Let's be real clear. There are some concerns within the permitting department. And I think the mayor put a gentleman over there that's trying to streamline that for affordable housing. In my district, we do have a lot of vacant lots, and we're using this first-time down payment assistance to build these single-family dwellings. Sure. We also have some multifamily going up, but mainly and I'm very keen on single-family dwelling, individual homes. What you're not telling people is the type of home you're putting in. Let's be clear about that, because Councilmember Davis ought to be real clear that you understand he's bringing container homes, and I'm not saying they're good or bad, but the way he's selling it to me is that we're not making the process easy for single-family dwellings. My concern has been and will continue, and I have nothing personal regardless of what you think about my opinion with container homes, but from a safety perspective. My only concern is, from what the fire department told me, using those K-12, when a fire takes place in a container, when the flames go up, they release the pressure with a K-12 saw in the roof, but those are steel roofs. So, if you have a human being in there, the worst thing you can have, as opposed to wood and shingle, that you can just hit it, and with the pressure it opens up. You're trying to saw this thing open. And so the concern I have, until the fire department put a check in the box and say, we're okay with that, you're creating a furnace situation for a human. And then you have one or two doors. I think you can torch them and put other doors there, but when you run into the fire, you can kick a sheetrock in, but you can't do that with that steel, Mr. Krieger. So those are the concerns I have. I have no personal problem with them. I wouldn't buy one because of the fear I have.
Sure.
But I don't want you thinking that the city is against single-family dwellings. And there are some council members that I've had conversations with that support container homes. Dwight Boykins doesn't, for that simple reason. However, if you can ever get the check in the box and the community that you want to put them in, approve it, you have my support.
Do you trust the Coast Guard?
The who?
The Coast Guard. They have a fire report on containers. I'll send it to you.
No, I trust the Houston Fire Department.
Okay.
In their opinion. And I don't know much about the Coast Guard. But I want to be clear about that. Our permanent department, to your point, needs to be, and I think Mr. Butler will do a fantastic job. But understand, we do want single-family dwelling in the city. I know in District D.
I would love to do some Laura houses for you in District D. Actually, we've gone after them, and we've been declined.
Container homes are
correct.
Oh, well,
Councilman started.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, too, that I'd like to make sure I get that list of things in the permitting department that you think could be more efficient. These are things that I've been working on since I've taken office.
Been here a while.
Sorry?
The work will never be done.
No, it won't. It's an endless job. But the permits, the fees that have been charged, people have no clue of what they should even be pulling permits for. That by ordinance, there's things out there that do not even make sense. As you stated, there's others that I don't even know where to begin. So if we could start with the things that people that have actually experienced it and give us a list, and we can definitely support on those type of changes. I have lots of friends. I'm a real estate broker. I haven't been able to do much of that, as you probably can imagine. Sure. If any. So I do know, prior to becoming on council, that was one of the biggest concerns is making it easier in the city to do business than it is out in the county, and we were actually pushing people out to the county to develop, and that's been my big concern. Thank you.
Councilman Robinson.
Mr. Krieger, I know you've been here a number of times before, and it's nice to see you. I would recommend, since you had a question about whether council members read your emails, some of us do, and I would suggest that most of us do, and we certainly have capable staffs behind us, and that's their responsibility as well. In this case, I think what I would suggest is that you can send things to the Vice Mayor Pro Tem, you can send things to Councilmember Boykins, but I would suggest that you compile your suggestions and submit it for consideration to a committee, like perhaps the Technology, Transportation, and Infrastructure Committee. That way we can get it to all the council members, and that way you're hitting one strike and you take yourself and us seriously. You don't, sarcasm is not real helpful here usually. So I think we're here as your elected officials, and we want to help you make your point. Containers are not necessarily outlawed, and as you know, people are building homes all over the world with containers. So whether or not there's a place for them in Houston, we had a very good committee meeting of our Housing and Community Development Committee meeting this morning for the Laura Larts that you referred to. Sure. I don't remember you being in the audience, but it was a really interesting presentation, and there may be some recent and relevant news that we could share with you. So go ahead and send it on, and we will circulate it and hopefully see you again.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Mr. Foster. To be followed by Ms.